In today's digital world, smartphones and social media have revolutionized the way we communicate, and dating is no exception worldwide, including Africa. Online dating platforms and social networks have created new opportunities for people to connect, breaking down traditional geographic and social barriers. While technology has made finding love easier in some ways, it has also introduced new risks. Consider the case of Anne, a 53-year-old French woman who was scammed out of $850,000 in 2023 by fraudster posing as actor Brad Pitt. For over a year, she believed she was in a relationship with him. She later said she wasn't crazy, but had been manipulated, highlighting the vulnerability many people face in online dating. While some dismiss her as naive, others sympathize, recognizing how difficult it can be to spot deepfake and AI-generated deception. On the other hand, many genuine love stories have emerged from social media and dating apps, proving that real connection can flourish online. So, in an ideal world where both parties have sincere intentions, what should they expect? Today, we're exploring how love can be found at the click of a button. Hello everyone, and welcome to Our Voices. I am Ginny Niwa, joined today by my co-host Auriane Itangishaka.
Hey everyone.
And Simegnish Yekoye.
Hello.
So like I was saying, in today's episode, we'll explore how men and women first connect through digital platform and whether this connection can turn into everlasting love, right?
I love this topic.
Right?
So, I know, perfect for Valentine's Day.
Exactly. Happy Valentine's Day, ladies.
Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Lovers Day.
Right. So do you believe you can actually find love online, in your DM?
I mean, it is possible. I think, people have done it and more people are doing it. But personally, I think I used to be more conservative about it, and I'm getting more, accepting nowadays, because as you said, it offers, possibilities despite the location, geography, and time. And I think it actually, offers options. Sometimes I believe that can be overwhelming, but it does offer, options for people. But at the same time, I am a human person. I believe I am a human person. So it's really difficult to really know someone through these online platforms. Naturally, I think people tend to provide only the positives about them and tend to hide their weaknesses. So it's really hard to know people's real feelings or emotions through keyboards. So, I have my preservations, but I think it's possible.
I'm completely the opposite. I absolutely believe that you can find love online. And I love the way you introduced it, because there's a lot of risk and a lot of rewards, but I absolutely think you can find a mate online, because the world has become a global community. So you widen your scope of range of people who can see you, who you can see. For instance, for me, I was particularly precise on what I wanted when I was looking for a husband, or when I wanted to position myself to be seen by a husband, right? I wanted him to speak these many languages, this kind of education, this kind of culture, Burundian, da-da-da-da-da-da. And nowadays I'm realizing that apps are actually tailored to what you want. You have like Muslima for people who are Muslim singles. You have like the different Christian apps. You have Tinder and Badoo that are actually tailored to different culture. So you can actually like narrow in and zoom in into what you want. And when you're looking for, and it's simple, you can just put your name, your picture, and a little bit about yourself. Some people do lie, but
that's where the tricky part is. People present themselves in a certain way.
But eventually you're going to find out.
Eventually, but maybe you'll end up getting hurt, like in any positive.
I like the way she presented it. It's so simple.
She made it so simple. I mean, I just try that way.
Put your name and your picture.
There is a lot of deception.
So one good thing is, yes, you can customize, but you mentioned something where it can be overwhelming. Yes. There is such thing as social media or dating app fatigue.
Yes.
Because, it's always the same thing. It's a huge pool of, people who may be, and it's, a lot of you know,
searching
and
matching,
mentally
and,
draining.
you know, a lot of people can match your profile and your personality, but then you don't know which one to go with. So you will end up talking to all of them, and then
and
you
then
don't
you
know
can
how
get
to pick.
disappointed when you see a guy and then the guy likes somebody else. And
Exactly.
okay, listen, this is a jungle out there.
Disappointment is the word. You know, it's disappointment after disappointment. I was on Tinder for a while. And and it's a lot of, you know, you get those candidates and you think it's going to work because you put all the, you know, the right features that you want, but there's something else, you know, they're human beings.
Well, yeah, speaking of deception, Divinar Nyangarisa, an online Swahili tutor, thought she had found love in 2014 through an online connection. Believing virtual relationships were safer than physical ones, she soon discovered that digital dating comes with its own set of challenges. Niwa shares her painful experience with our reporter, Sadia Salwa. Let's take a listen.
Divina Nyangarisa, a Swahili online tutor based in Nairobi, Kenya, describes herself as an introvert. It is for this very reason that she chose to look for love online. Her story began in 2014.
We met 2014 online in a dating site called Craigslist. We dated online for a year. I was in Kenya, he was in the States.
This was her first dating attempt online. Back then, social media platforms such as Instagram, WhatsApp, and Facebook were not popular yet in Kenya. She decided to check reviews on online dating.
Of course, I was looking at the, you know, the success stories. Though I saw a bit of, you know, people getting killed. But anyway, I said, you know, even in church, you can get a bad person. So
she reached out and connected with a person who she thought was her match. A year later, he traveled to Kenya to meet Nyangarisa, and she got pregnant. They were expecting quadruplets. After the delivery, he left her stranded in hospital with 4 premature girls.
He was like, you know, I got shocked. Of course, he was aware I'm expecting quadruplets. This is something I knew at 3 months. We had already even shopped together. He bought a lot of stuff for the children. So I really don't know what shocked him when I gave birth.
Nyangarisa says she was holding on to the love she had for him. Despite the heartache and the disappointment that came with the relationship, she says she has no regrets.
Never ignore red flags. There were too many red flags even before we even met. He could disappear, you know. He could just get upset over something very small. For example, if he calls you and you don't pick, he will just accuse you, oh, you are with other men, you know.
It's a choice.
Catherine Kithaka, a relationship expert and psychologist, says dating in the digital age may not be completely different from physical dating. What's important in both approaches is setting the record straight from the onset.
What do you want from this relationship? Is it companionship? Is it love? Is it acceptance? So first of all is understand self. Then when you understand self, the person you look out for is the person who will complement your need.
Experts like Kithaka say most would opt for digital romance as a way to lure people for the wrong reasons. However, it seems women fall prey to these tricks more than men do.
There could be some desperation to a certain extent to meet their own needs, but maybe one more. It's about the emotional vulnerability. You know, women tend to open up very easily.
Online dating has its own merits. It is convenient, especially when dealing with long-distance romantic connections. People who suffer from social anxiety find it helpful to use online dating to gradually connect with others from a safe space. On the flip side, online dating attracts predatory behaviors such as catfishing and scams. Catherine Kithaka offers tips to people, especially women, on how to bounce back when they experience such pitfalls.
Look at where you went wrong. So is it the boundaries that you didn't set at the beginning? Reinforce them one more time. Is it the values that were not clear? Pick them up once more time. So just to find out where did the person go wrong, and try to reinvent and try and make a difference. And then we are able to know these are our limits. You can't go beyond here, whether it's the online space or whether we are meeting physically in the church, in the mosque, but this is my space.
For Divina, once the wounds have healed from the trauma of her previous relationship, she is willing to do it again, all in the name of looking for romance. For VOA, I'm Saida Swale in Nairobi, Kenya.
Thank you, Saida Swale, for that report from Nairobi, Kenya. Now joining us via phone from South Africa is Miss Lengiwe Dube, Project Manager of Expression, Information and Digital Rights at the University of Pretoria Center for Human Rights. Hello, Ms. Dube, and welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. So online dating has drastically changed relationship dynamics. Traditionally, families played a crucial role in matchmaking, but now people are making individual choices. How have online platforms contributed to this shift, do you think?
Yes, thank you so much for opening the platform for such a conversation, which I believe is very timely, necessary. So yes, indeed, the way we just relate with each other has changed quite significantly, with the use of the technologies that we are exposed to. And indeed, even in the manner in which we develop and sustain relationships and everything, all the dynamics around relationships as well has also, been impacted by technology. And yes, in the context of dating as well, we see dynamics that are changing offline as well. Things are changing, but also there are a different set of dynamics in the online space where now there's there are more options, there are more preferences. Just like we had in the introduction that somebody is in Kenya and they are able to date somebody who is in another continent or in another country. So now navigating the whole distance thing has become a bit more flexible when it comes to relationships. And also even when you're looking at taboos, around exploring with different people. I think in the physical world that becomes a bit, people are judgmental, it becomes a bit difficult. But if you're in the online space, you can explore, this profile, this person, and then you can move on to another person. Some can even be exploring different people at the same time. So
yes,
it does have that whole different dynamic and the freedom, that personal, the ability to exercise that personal freedom, and also your agency as well in the matchmaking process as well.
Yes, but let me jump in a little bit. I mean, I love the fact of the idea of just dating online and then having the butterfly, like when you're having like a blind date type. But many people struggle to identify red flags online in relationships. Can you share with us some warning signs that indicate that someone may not be who they claim to be?
Yes, so indeed, as much as we are talking about the freedom, how the dynamics are changing, there are different challenges really that are presented by this whole dating in the digital space, and navigating that also has just become also very, very difficult. But some of the red flags that can be mentioned in this conversation is around when you are having somebody, trying to communicate or link with someone and you're trying to get their story and who they are. And then, some of the red flags around some of the inconsistencies, because they're trying to, put the pieces together of what they are telling you to, understand their profile. And if there are inconsistencies and there are details keep shifting and changing, that is on its own, it's a red flag. Who are they? Where do they live? What do they do? So you'll find some people who are not consistent when it comes to their stories about who they are.
Saida, maybe what about from technology point of view? Let's say with AI-generated content and deep fakes becoming more sophisticated. How can people really verify the person they are speaking to is real?
Just before I answer that, I wanted to also mention the issue about refusal to meet with the person that you're communicating with in person, or even having a video chat. That's another red flag, which I think is very important to flag. But on the issue of the AI generated, I believe you said AI generated content and deepfakes and all that. And the verification of that person, I think, yes, it's with AI, anything is possible these days, and the verification process can become very difficult. And in order to mitigate that, that you are not talking to just a robot, a video call would be helpful. And if one can insist on that, and if the other person refuses, then that really is a red flag. And there are other apps that one can use, but those ones take somebody who knows how to use them. If, for example, you are sent an image, a photo where you can use your what are they called? Google
reverse image.
Yeah, I would definitely ask them for a video call. I'd be like, let's get on a call right now. Well, thank you so much. We'll have to take a pause right now. We'd like to thank Ms. Helungwe Dube, Project Manager of Expressions, Information and Digital Rights at the University of Pretoria Center for Human Rights, for joining us via phone from South Africa. Thanks for sharing your insights. Well, it's time for a short break. When we come back, Siresha Bharat, co-founder and CEO of Boardroom and the dating platform for professionals, will join us to discuss dating trends. We also want to hear from you. Join us on this conversation on Facebook, Instagram, and X at VOA Africa using the hashtag VOA Our Voices. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
You're watching VOA's Red Carpet. My name is Jackson Vunganyi. Thank you so much for joining us each week right here on Red Carpet. We bring you the latest in
health, wellness, sport, beauty, medical breakthroughs. Healthy Living cares about your well-being. What are the main health concerns in Africa and around the world? Find out the latest on coronavirus. Connect with our experts and ask them questions.
How long does the virus stay?
Join me, Linor Mudu, in Washington, every week on Healthy Living, right here on VOA.
You with Our Voices, welcome back. Today we're discussing the growing trend of online dating. Here with us, over Skype, of course, is Ms. Siresha Bharat, co-founder and CEO of Boardroom, an invite-only dating app designed specifically for busy working professionals seeking meaningful relationship. Hello, Ms. Bharat. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, so tell us what inspired you to create a dating platform specifically for professionals. I'm assuming they want at least the other person to have a job, but what else?
Yes, definitely. Okay, so I think just being an entrepreneur myself, and also being a female that's been single for the last couple of years, it's been really difficult to find love with social circles that are shrinking post the pandemic as well and pre-pandemic. It's been really difficult to go out, still focus on your career, So where else are you actually finding a significant other or a potential companion? So we created Boardroom because we recognize the unique challenges that professionals are faced in the dating world. So balancing career demands while still seeking a meaningful relationship is really difficult. So we are a dating app for professionals that leverages LinkedIn for verification to ensure users are serious about their personal lives, but also finding a balance between love and career success.
Listen, let's hear from women where you are in Johannesburg, South Africa, as they share whether they would use a dating app to meet a significant other for romance or for a long-term relationship. We have Unavi Masango, Elsie Anifo, Yamara, and Wisdom Fadudze in our Your Voice segment, and we'll be right back.
I don't believe in dating sites. The reason why I don't believe in them is because you never get the chance to get like a proper background of that person you are trying to get involved with. So it's not wise. Before getting into a relationship with someone, you must be clear about them. Like you must have a proper background. You should know everything about them. And then what they do on dating sites is that they don't give you like much of them. They just display their pictures, and that's all.
I know people meet their lovers on dating app, and then it works well for them. Others too, it doesn't go too well with them, but I wouldn't use someone on a dating app. I want to meet the person in person, and then I'll become friends with the person before I might want to date the person.
Dangers, I think potentially it could be catfishing. Someone can pose a false identity. Let's say you're a female. I could present myself as a male, like a good male, like the ideal person you'd want to date. And then the day we decide to link up or see each other, turns out that I'm a kidnapper or something like that. So I think it would be risky in that regard.
Well, becoming friends first, that's a great approach. It's encouraging to hear people's cautious instincts when it comes to online dating. In the report, one woman mentioned that she should have recognized red flags. Ms. Barat, could you point us, and I asked this to our previous guest also, some of the red flags in online dating that you can point out that people should really just look out for?
So I hear everything that individuals are saying about online dating and the risks that's involved, especially within the African continent. But I also feel a platform like Boardroom has been built around these inconsistencies of people's profiles, around what the global dating industry has seen as challenges. Online dating is not going anywhere. It's the type of platform that we're creating and the caliber of individual that's going to change, right? I mean, for us, we're utilizing LinkedIn as a way to verify individuals, and your LinkedIn needs to be 90 days old with 100 connections.
Right, but I'm talking about the red flags that you should tell that this person is not the personality and who they really are as a person is not really what they are. What are some
I'm getting to that now. It's like, do you have the time to actually scam on a platform like LinkedIn as well? So I'm bringing it back to why a platform like Boardroom can actually be utilized within the African continent and has been. If someone's story doesn't match up to what they've said to you online, what you're finding on their LinkedIn profiles, if you're typing them in on Google and nothing is coming up, that's something that you can look out for. I mean, if you've just signed up on LinkedIn just to utilize the app, that's another red flag. Should you not want to do video calls on at least the second day or third day of speaking, that's also another red flag. From a lack of verification and transparency perspective, I think we've ticked those boxes with Boardroom as an application. If your photo, so we ask for selfie verification as well. If your photo does not match what we're finding on LinkedIn, does not match what we're asking you to verify, also utilizing a passport or identification, then we're not allowing you on the platform. So our verification process has become quite strategic, especially coming from the African continent.
Ms. Barrett, I'm so curious. Do professionals approach online dating differently compared to the general population? Why specific to professionals?
Okay, so I'm going to say yes to that. And I'm going to say yes that we do approach online dating very differently because our time is something that we take into consideration. I mean, if you are looking at values, are they aligned to your personal values? Are they aligned to your growth and ambitions? And that's something that you look for within your relationship. I'm not just going to go out and date anyone. It needs to align with my values if it is time that I'm dedicating to dating someone. So we make that easier looking at values early in the relationship and asking those type of questions when you are actually setting up your dating profile on Boardroom.
Right. So how successful have you been so far? Have you seen people meeting and, you know, taking the relationship to next levels?
So that's actually a very exciting question for us right now because we had our first proposal that happened in January this year.
So it does happen. Love does happen online.
Thank you, thank you. And we also, I mean, we're a year old and we're sitting at over 35,000 active matches. So just seeing how the platform is growing as well, seeing the success of having people getting engaged, seeing the reviews that are coming in and people actually sharing their success stories as we approach 2025 and the second year of the app. It's just super exciting to see that our online dating platform that is seen as a platform for professionals, that's a safer approach to dating, is working and the success rates of that.
That's beautiful. We wish a lot of marriage and babies.
That's the point, right?
Right. So ladies, dating in a digital date has some challenges, but the outcome seemingly is that love prevails, isn't it?
Indeed, that's what we're hearing.
Yeah. And that's a wrap for today's episode. A big thank you to our guest, Miss Elingwe Dube of the University of Pretoria's Expression, Information and Digital Rights Unit, and Miss Sarissa Barat with us of the Boardroom Dating app for sharing the valuable insight. Last but not least, we thank our editorial and production team on Our Voices. Don't forget to check out our website at voaafrica.com or our YouTube channel, where you can catch up on the latest episode of Our Voices and the top news stories from around the globe. We'll see you next week with another exciting discussion. Until then, remember, you control the narrative of your love story.